Hello guys and welcome to Astrology Coaching by Anatoly. Today I decided to make a short video about Mercury retrograde. As you probably know, this period of retrograde movement of Mercury is coming. So of course you don't have to be worried about that because this astrological event is happening every 3-4 times in the year. So you don't have to be worried, but you have to um, take some cautions, if I can say it in this way, because Mercury is the planet of communication, traveling, education, information, business. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, there is some confusion around these areas of our life. There is some delays, there is some miscommunication, and you should always, there can be a little bit chaos in the field of information, communication. There can be delays with traveling. There can be less profit in your own business. So don't worry about that. This is something not forever. It's something temporary. And of course, retrograde Mercury can bring people from the past. A retrograde Mercury can make people more confused. So you always have to double check the information. You always have to, if you, for example, if you buy a new device, computer or some electronical device, you always have to keep the guarantee with you because most likely there can be some issue with this device, or you have to go back and turn it back. Not of course not all the time, but there are a lot of cases, and especially Mercury retrograde is very powerful for people who are in the dasha, who are in the planetary period of Mercury retrograde. And I mean, the planetary period of Mercury, it is very powerful if Mercury is transiting over your natal planets. And of course, if you have ascendant or moon sign in Virgo or Gemini, because Virgo and Gemini are ruled by Mercury. So the Mercury is the ruler, and every time Mercury is having a retrograde movement, it always has some influence on these zodiac signs. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the chart now, and I'm going to tell you for each ascendant and for each moon sign where will be your Mercury retrograde. But before that, I'm going to show you the dates that the start date and the end date of this retrograde movement of Mercury. So, oh, why there is no, okay, let me see. Okay, now I see it. So Mercury retrograde, you see here, Mercury will become retrograde on 18th of July. So on 18th of July, around 21 degree of Cancer, Mercury will go from direct to retrograde. So if you have planets in Cancer or around 21 degrees of Cancer or 21 degrees of Capricorn, there can be some events in your life related to Mercury. Of course, I forgot to tell, of course, in the beginning, this is Vedic astrology. So if you don't know anything about Vedic astrology, it is good first to check your chart according to Vedic astrology, according to the sidereal calculation system, and then you can come back and watch this video, because Vedic astrology is different from the Western astrology, and they have different calculation systems. We are using the planets and the aspects in a different way, but of course you can check online the difference. I have already uploaded a video about the difference between Vedic astrology and Western astrology, and of course you can check my books. I have 2 books about astrology in Amazon. Vedic astrology is in simple, and nakshatras in Vedic astrology is in simple. They're for beginners. They're for all Western people who don't know anything about Vedic astrology. So I try to make it easy and simple, especially for you guys. And of course, I have online course for Vedic astrology for beginners, which is easy and simple too. So Western people can learn in an easy and simple way about Vedic astrology. So you can check it. Everything is in the links below this video. So on 21st of on 18th of July, um, Mercury will go retrograde, and it will be retrograde till 11th of August. So on 11th of August, around 10 degrees of Cancer, Mercury will go direct again. So if you have planets around 10 degrees of Cancer or 10 degrees of Capricorn, you can check for some event in this period. So now I'm going to show for each ascendant where will be Mercury retrograde. So so you are aware, but I'm repeating again, don't worry about Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde is not something uncommon. It is something very frequent event. So just be careful with the information. Be careful how, if you have to travel, be careful how, if you have to work with information, double check everything. If you buy something new, keep the guarantee, because you may use it later on. If you meet people, don't worry about, don't take a very important decision, especially in love, if you meet people during the Mercury retrograde or Venus retrograde, because when they change their movement, maybe the situation will change too. So yeah, don't worry about Mercury retrograde. Just keep this as information, and double check and rethink everything that you have to do, especially if you are signing any documents. If you are signing documents, you have to check all the clauses, all the little words, even the little words, to double check all the information and what are the requirements and your responsibilities for sure. Okay, so now we are going to start. So, for all people who have Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign, Mercury will be retrograde in your fourth house. The fourth house, this is the house of mother, the house of lands, happiness, inner peace. This is the natural house of the Cancer. So here you have to be careful with the communication with the mother. If you are buying new devices for your home, computers, you have to be careful again. If you are, for example, updating the system, the program in your laptop, just be careful, and you should have a backup. You have to be prepared for some problems with the update. I don't know why, I always update my computer during the retrograde Mercury, and I always have issues with the updating, especially with my website. So be careful about that. For all people who have Taurus ascendant, Mercury retrograde will be in your third house. This is the natural third house of communication, the house of your siblings, the house of your cousins, people, neighbors, everything that you are doing with your hands. So be careful how you communicate. Be careful with your own business. If you have to travel, be careful. You have to be prepared, especially around the dates when Mercury goes from direct to retrograde and from retrograde to direct, because this is the most potential part of the movement of Mercury retrograde. When a planet is changing its direction, it is very strong. So you have to be careful, especially around 18th of July and 11th of August, because there can be the full influence of Mercury. Be careful how you communicate. For all people who have Gemini ascendant and Gemini moon sign, oh, Jupiter and Venus are in your ascendant. Wow, this is nice. A Mercury retrograde will be in your second house, the house of speaking, family, resources, values. Be careful how you spend your money. Be careful what you are saying. Be careful how you behave with your family. There can be some expenses that you cannot expect, that you didn't expect. Be careful about that. For all people who have Cancer ascendant and Cancer moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be over your ascendant, which is very important. So now it is time to look back and to see what you have done and what you missed. And now it's a good time to reassess your life. And if you have to take vital, important decisions, Now it's time to prepare, to analyze, to see whether the information that you have is enough. And when Mercury goes direct, yes, you can take the right decisions. Of course, when Mercury is retrograde, you always have to double check the information, as I already said. So if you have to make very important decision, it is good to think very well, or you should go to astrologer to check whether Mercury has really strong influence in your chart, and there can be some issues. Of course, you can always book a consultation with me. You can check my website www.astrology-coaching.com. It is in the links below, so I can always help you and guide you. For all people who have Leo ascendant or moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 12th house, house of foreign lands, foreigners, other dimensions, dreaming, illusions, hospitals, laboratory, isolation. So be careful if you're traveling, be careful how expenses too, be careful how you communicate with foreigners, or be careful with your money, because there can be some expenses that you didn't expect. Okay, or there can be some secrets that are coming out. Be careful. For all people who have Virgo ascendant or Virgo moon sign, Cancer Mercury retrograde will be in your 11th house, the house of friends, social circles, incomes, dreams, goals. So be careful how you communicate with your friends. If you have some plans for new income resources, sources of income, there can be some delays, there can be some postponed projects. So you have to take this in your mind. Keep this in your mind. For all people who have Libra ascendant or Libra moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 4th house. This is, I'm sorry, not 4th house, 10th house. I see this number 4, and but this number 4 is Cancer. This is the 10th house. The 10th house is the house of work, status, social status, dharma, life mission, bosses, CEO, management, government. So you should be more careful how you communicate and everything that is related with Mercury, not only communication but information in relation to your work. And if you have some work with your manager or with your bosses, you have to be careful there. For all people who have Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 9th house. This is the house of traveling again, education, philosophy, religion, work, giving advice, father. So if you have exams in during this period, you have to study a lot, and you have to pay attention what you are writing and how do you fill out the tests and everything you have to do. And if you travel, keep in mind that it is Mercury retrograde and there can be some delays or some change of the plan that you had. For all people who have Sagittarius ascendant or moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in the 8th house. 8th house is transformation, death and rebirth, psychology, astrology, other people's money, involves. So you have to be careful in these fields. There can be some problems with other people's money, so you have to count them very well, okay? Or you have to be careful how you communicate with your in-laws. Or if you have any secrets, be careful, because 8th house is related again with secrets. Everything that is under the ground, underneath. So there can be some secrets going out. For all people who have Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 7th house, the house of partnership, spouse. So there can be miscommunication with your spouse, or there can be old partners coming back to your life. So you have to be careful not to not to I mean to be more patient with this, because if an old person appears during the Mercury retrograde period, it doesn't mean he or she will stay. So keep this in mind. For all people who have Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 6th house, the house of conflicts, routine, service, health, enemies, so unprivileged people too. Here, you have to be careful with your daily life, how you communicate with people from your daily life, with your colleagues. If you go to hospitals, again, it is good to check again the results, not to if you have some results, you have to check the information whether it's correct or it's not correct. There can be issues with enemies, conflicts, so you have to be very careful how you communicate. For all people who have Pisces ascendant or Pisces moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your fifth house, the house of love, romance, creativity, leisure, children. So you have to be careful how you communicate with your children. If you have some artistic project, there can be some problems, delays, postpone projects, or people from your past, lover, your ex-lovers, they can come back in your life because fifth house is related with love and romance. Again, be careful if people from your past appears again and they want to be together with you. You have to rethink it very well and wait till Mercury goes direct. And of course, I forgot to say at the beginning, during the retrograde period of Mercury, there will be a conjunction of Ketu and Mars, which is very critical because Ketu and Mars gives a big burst of energy, and depends on you and your natal chart whether this will be a good thing or a bad thing. Depends entirely on you. But Ketu and Mars will conjunct together on around 22nd of July. You can check my video, and this can make you like a bomb that will explode. And the Mercury retrograde can bring a lot of miscommunication, so there can be a lot of scandals, and be careful about that. This is important if you don't want to make some additional enemies or conflicts. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it, and see you soon. Bye bye.